CBS News projects that voters in Virginia will approve a new congressional map, which gives Democrats an edge in their effort to take control of the House ahead of the midterms. The Commonwealth narrowly approved the referendum. You see here, you got 97% of the vote in, and the measure was supported by just more than half of those who turned out to vote. The new maps could add 4 House seats for Democrats, basically negating any gains made by Republicans elsewhere in the country. But the gerrymandering push is not over. CBS News political director Fin Gómez joins us now from our D.C. bureau to explain why that is. Fin, good morning. This appears to be quite a close result, albeit a decisive one. What does it tell us about the fight in Virginia and also just nationwide?
Yeah, good morning, Errol. Yeah, a few big takeaways here. First, the Democrats got what they needed. This new map could net them up to 4 House seats, and that effectively wipes out the Republican gains from Texas, Missouri, and North Carolina. For a party defending a 3-seat majority, that's a real problem for the Republicans. And this is important. This was, as you just said, not a blowout. It was a tight margin in a state that Kamala Harris carried by almost 6 in 2024. Republicans that I spoke to are taking that as a sign that the political environment is good for them, and also adds to their argument before the vote that this is a purple state. The third takeaway is that Democrats have now won back-to-back redistricting fights at the ballot box. You remember California last year, Virginia last night. Governor Abigail Spanberg of Virginia, leader Hakeem Jeffries, even former President Obama all went in hard here, and they proved they can mobilize voters on this issue. And I think that's a playbook that they could use again and leading into the midterms. And while Republicans Virginia Republicans that I spoke to were frustrated that they did not get more help from national Republicans. For example, they were outspent 3-1 on advertising in this referendum, and there was at least $81 million that came pouring into this political fight. So that is also very notable. Errol.
And so then where should we be watching next, Fin, in this what's turned out to be a national redistricting fight?
I would look to Florida. Florida is holding a special legislative session that Governor DeSantis has called specifically to look at this. So I think that that's the next upcoming tentpole. You also have, there was some interest in Maryland, but it does, there's still some debate as whether that's really a viable option for Democrats. But really, Florida is the next step. And then, of course, you have to look. The state Supreme Court in Virginia still has to rule on the Republicans' legal challenge. Briefs are due actually a few days from now. Republicans argued that the amendment was rushed and the ballot language was misleading. So these news maps are not fully locked in yet in Virginia. And I would also just keep an eye on the U.S. Supreme Court, where there's a big voting rights decision awaiting that could have more of an impact than redistricting, frankly. So lots to take in and lots to keep an eye out for. Errol.
Yeah, fascinating though to watch this unfold and to voters voice their views. Fin, thank you very much.